Right, we're back for number 29 of the quiz. And I'll give you some of the scores from last night. There's a couple of good scores from last week there. And Stevie and Rita got a 34, which was good. They got too many people got the connection round right. So I've tried to make it a wee bit harder this week. In fact, I think the 7th question would have given you it, so I had to scrub that out and put another one in. Right, Gina and Davey, I didn't get their score this week. Carly never said it, but they're going well in the high 20s. Josie and Bill got a 29. And Andrea and Andrea's doing it. Hope you are feeling better this week. Billy Gray and Margaret's scoring well too, up in the high 20s. And Stephen Rita got the 34. Dawn and John, big shout out to Dawn and John, who's up there in the 20s as well. And Carlin and Brian. And anybody else that's doing it, put a wee comment in so we know who you are, and we'll give you a wee mention. Right, we're going to get on with number quiz 29. And we're going to do one to warm us up, and then the connection round will be in the second round. What's the only body part that is fully grown when you're born? Okay, what's the only body part that is fully grown when born? Doesn't grow anymore. Number 2, how many hearts does an octopus have? How many hearts does an octopus have? See, let's get this one. New music going. What do Gary Newman and Cliff Richard have in common? What do Gary Newman and Cliff Richard have in common? Number 4, what was the name of the dog in Greek mythology who guarded the gates of the underworld? Okay, so what was the name of the dog in Greek mythology who guarded the gates of the underworld? And number 5, who was nicknamed the Beard by the CIA? Who was nicknamed the Beard by the CIA? You might need a pen for some of these questions, a pen and paper, or your calculator. In the course of a day, how many times does a chime and clock chime? Okay, in the course of one day, how many chimes does a chime and clock chime? And number 7, what do Americans call paraffin? What do Americans call paraffin? Ooh. And the last one in this round. Which British Prime Minister was nicknamed Le Grocer? Which British Prime Minister was nicknamed Le Grocer? Right, so if you want to go over some of them again, have a look back, pause it. I'll do it now because I'm going to give you the answers, okay? Here's the answers coming up. What's the only body part that is fully grown when born? Your eyes. How many hearts does an octopus have? 3. And what do Gary Newman and Cliff Richard have in common? They were both born with the surname Webb. Harry Webb and Gary Webb. And what was the name of the dog in the Greek mythology who guarded the gates of the underworld? Cerberus. And who was nicknamed the Beard by the CIA? Fidel Castro. In the course of the day, how many days does a chiming clock chime? 156. And what do Americans call paraffin? Kerosene. And which British Prime Minister was nicknamed the Grocer? Edward Heath. So what them scores up. We're going to go on to the big one now. I'm into these connections. See, once you get into these connections, it's you pick you sort of pick a word, and then you go and look for questions to suit. So I've picked this word this week and tried to think how I could fit them all in. So I hope I've made it a wee bit harder than last week, because too many people got it last week. I thought I made last week's harder, so I think this is a wee smidgen harder. Number 1, Feed the Birds Tuppence a Bag is from which film? Feed the Birds Tuppence a Bag is from which film? The River Nile is the longest river in the world. What's the second longest river? Number 3, Jeff Hurst scored 3 goals. Martin Peters scored 1 while playing for the same team to win the final. Which team was this? Jeff Hurst scored 3. Martin Peters scored 1 for the same team to win the final. It was a final of some cup. So which team were we talking about? If you give me the year. Well, if you know the answer, you'll know the year anyway. So number 4, who had hits with Physical and Take Me Home Country Roads? Who had hits with Physical and Take Me Home Country Roads? If any of you's got the link yet, may take us maybe one more. Some people maybe guess it from the first one, but I'll only a guess. So which country does Nova Scotia belong to? Which country does Nova Scotia belong to? That was number 5. Number 6, here's the one I had to change, because I think the original number 6 would have been too easy. It'd give you the whole thing. So I had to change this one. In June 1985, okay. In June 1985, a track and field world record was broke, and the distance was 17 metres and can't read no right, 97 centimetres, or it was in feet. It was 58 feet, 11.5 inches. What was the event? Okay, in June 1985, a track and field world record was broke. The distance was 17 metres and 97 centimetres, or old money, it was 58 feet, 11.5 inches. What was the event? Number 7. Which Belfast store burnt down on the 20th of August 2018 with an estimate of £30 million for the extension and refurbishment? I'll read that again. Which Belfast store burnt down on the 20th of August 2018 with the damage an estimate of £30 million for the extension and refurbishment? So I'm looking for which building burnt down, which store. It was a store that burnt down. And number 8, what connects all the answers? What word connects all the answers? Hope you didn't get this. Right, so when I rewind and go over them there, I'm going to give you the answers here. Time's at 9 minutes, right? Your answers. Feed the Birds Tuppence a Bag is from which film? Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins. The Nile is the longest river in the world. What's the second longest? The Amazon. Jeff Hurst scored 3. Martin Peters scored 1. They were playing for the same team to win the final. Which team was this? It was England. England 1966 World Cup team. It was who had hits with Physical and Take Me Home Country Roads. It was Olivia Newton-John. Olivia Newton-John. And which country does Nova Scotia belong to? Canada. Belongs to Canada. Canada. And number 6, in June 1985, a track and field world record was broke, and the distance was 17 metres and 97 centimetres, or 58 feet 11.5 inches. It was the triple jump. Okay, it was the triple jump. And which Belfast store burnt down on the 20th of August 2018 with an estimate of 30 million for extension and refurbishment. It was Primark. Okay. And number 8, what connects the answers? Right, I'll go over them here for the answers for you. Feed the Birds Tuppence a Bag is from which film? Mary Poppins. If anybody's seen the film a few years ago, where Mary Poppins was, well, the girl that wrote Mary Poppins was trying to sell it on to Disney. It was called Saving Mr. Banks. The Nile is the longest river in the world. What's the second longest? It was the Amazon. The Amazon River, which has river banks. Jeff Hurst scored 3. Martin Peters scored that one there. That was England World Cup team, whose goalkeeper was Gordon Banks, who had a hit with Physical and Take Me Home Country Roads. Olivia Newton-John. She also had a hit with the banks of the Ohio. And which country does Nova Scotia belong? Canada. The capital of Nova Scotia is Halifax, which is a bank. And the one I took out was, who did Kermit the Frog break up with in August 2015? Would it be Miss Piggy? It was Piggy Bank, but I took that out if that was too easy. Which Belfast store burnt down on the 20th of August? That was Primark. In the bank buildings. So what connects all the answers? Banks. So hope you just got that there. Hope it wasn't too hard, but I enjoyed doing that one, trying to get that connection there. What is that? Right, round 3. A couple of hard ones here. Which city's airport is named after astronomer Galileo Galilei? Galilei. Which city's airport is named after astronomer Galileo Galilei? It's hard to say. Number 2. What was the most famous invention of Barnes Wallis? What was the most famous invention of Barnes Wallis? What was the nickname of Joan of Arc? For number 3, what was the nickname of Joan of Arc? We got 13.5 minutes. We're going well. Number 4, what was Nicholas Breakspeare's claim to fame? What was Nicholas Breakspeare's claim to fame? Stem of fame here. Who is credited with inventing the widely used expression 15 minutes of fame? Who is credited with inventing the widely used expression 15 minutes of fame? And number 6, what was the name of the captain of the submarine, the Nautilus? What was the name of the captain of the submarine, the Nautilus? And number 7, The Hague is what country's administrative capital? The Hague is what country's administrative capital? And number 8, in cooking, what term is used when food is chopped into thin strips? What term is used when food is chopped into thin strips? Okay, it's the last one. So if you want to go for some of them, you can go back. If you want to do that next, I'm going to read out the answers. Then you come back and check their score. I think we've made the pass today is 25. 25. If you get 25 or more, you're doing well. Which city's airport is named after astronomer Galileo Galilei? Pisa. That was a hard one all around. Pisa. What was the most famous invention of Barnes Wallis? The bouncing bomb. What was the nickname of Joan of Arc? Maid of Orleans. If you put New Orleans, you're not getting a point. What was the nickname of Joan of Arc? It's Maid of Orleans, not New Orleans. You don't get a point for New Orleans. Okay, number 4. What was Nicholas Breakspeare's claim to fame? He's the only English Pope. Okay, Nicholas Breakspeare was the only English Pope. Number 5, who is credited with inventing the widely used expression 15 minutes of fame? It was Andy Warhol. What was the name of the captain of the submarine, the Nautilus? Captain Nemo. And The Hague is which country's administrative capital? The Netherlands or Holland? In cooking, what term is used when food is chopped into thin strips? Is julienne. Our damn scores up. We're moving on to round 4. We're at you're coming up to 17 minutes. We're just on schedule. The 60s song Happy Together was by which group? This is a music round. The 60s song Happy Together was sung by which group? Number 2. The lyrics, he thinks that I'm a cabbage because I hate University Challenge, is from what song? It nearly rhymes. He thinks that I'm a cabbage because I hate University Challenge is from what song? Another lyric for number 3. And it don't rain in Indianapolis in the summertime. And it don't rain in Indianapolis in the summertime is a line of lyrics from which 60s hit? Number 4. Eve Graham and Lynn Paul were members of which 70s group? Eve Graham and Lynn Paul were members of which 70s group? Sticking to the 70s. Which 70s band was fronted by Ray Dorset? Or Dorsey, how do you say it? D-O-R-S-E-T. Is it Dorsey or Dorset? Probably Dorsey. Which 70s band was fronted by Ray Dorsey? And number 6. Which 80s band took their name from a 1968 sci-fi film, Barbarella? Which 80s band took their name from a 1968 sci-fi film, Barbarella? Here's a wee tough one, 7. A couple of you might get this. Stevie might get it, Josie might get it. Gene and Davey, they'll probably get it. Which 1970s group, one hit wonder, had a hit called Woodstock? Which 1970s group had a one hit wonder called Woodstock? Went to number 1 in October 1970, but what was the group? Number 8. These names are included in the lyrics of a song, and this song got to number 1 as well. These are probably one-hit wonders too. So these names appeared in a song. They're guys' names. I want to know what the song was. Okay, so the names Ralph, Charles, Paul and Larry. Okay, Ralph, Charles, Paul and Larry appear in the lyrics of which 1977 number one hit? Ralph, Charles, Paul and Larry. Okay. You got a 6 here, you're doing well. Okay, so we're going to go back and go over some of them. I'm going to give you the answers out now. So I'll keep adding them scores up when you get it. Number one, the 60s song Happy Together was by which group? It was the Turtles. The Turtles. The lyrics, he thinks that I'm a cabbage because I hate university challenge, is from which song? My Perfect Cousin by the Undertones. And It Don't Rain in Indianapolis in the Summertime is a line of lyrics from which 60s hit? Little Green Apples by O.C. Smith. Eve, Graham and Lynn Paul were members of which 70s group? The New Seekers. The New Seekers, not the Seekers. Number 5, which 70s band was fronted by Ray Dorsey? Mungo Jerry. And he got the name from T.S. Eliot's Old Possum's book of Curious Cats, or Practical Cats. He got the name from T.S. Eliot's Old Possum's book of Practical Cats. Mungo Jerry, he was one of the cats. Which 80s band took their name from the 1968 sci-fi film Barbarella? Duran Duran. And which 1970s group one hit wonder had a hit called Woodstock? Went to number 1 in October of 1970. It was Matthew's Southern Comfort. Matthew's Southern Comfort. And the name Ralph, Charles, Paul and Larry appear in the lyrics of which 1970 number 1 hit? Float On by the Floaters. Hello, hi, my name is Larry. I'm that one, Aquarius and all that there. Right, had them scores up and we're going to go on the last round and we're at 22 minutes, so we're running a wee bit late in this one. Number 1, what is kept in Lincoln and Salisbury Cathedral and the British Library in London? So there's 4 of them. What is kept in Lincoln and Salisbury? There's 1 kept in Lincoln, 1 kept in Salisbury Cathedral as well, and there's 2 kept in the British Library in London. What are they? You might need a pen for this. It's an anagram. I'm gonna read it out to you, and it's a movie. I want to know what the movie. Sometimes you don't even need to work it out. You can work it out by the words. Deducted U.S. city banks, cash in hand. Deducted U.S. city banks, cash in hand. Okay, if you write that down, and it's an anagram of a movie. Deducted U.S. city banks, cash in hand. Number 3. Who rode a horse called Black Bess? Who rode a horse called Black Bess? Number 4. At which battle was Nelson killed? At which battle was Nelson killed? Number 5. What does corned mean in corned beef? What does corned mean in corned beef? Corned beef. Number 6. What is the most popular brand of cigarette in the world? What is the most popular brand of cigarette in the world? It sells more cigarettes than anybody else, this brand. Here's another wee tough one. What historically are Peter Allen and Owen Evans known for? What historically are Peter Allen and Owen Evans known for? And the last one in this round, this is going to be over 25 minutes, this is a long one. What year did the last Apollo mission that put men on the moon? Okay, so I'm looking at the year. And what year did the last Apollo mission put men on the moon? Now I'm going to give you a year either way, so you have 3 years to get this. Okay, what year did the last Apollo mission put men on the moon? So you've got 3 years to get this, a year either way. Okay, you want to rewind that? If you want to go over some of them, especially that anagram one. I'm going to give you the answers. What is Captain Lincoln and Salisbury Cathedral and the British Library in London? Okay, there's two in the British Library in London and one each in Lincoln and Salisbury Cathedral. It's the 4 original copies of the Magna Carta, which means Great Charter. Number 2, the anagram deducted US City Bank's cash in hand. What was the movie? Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Who rode a horse called Black Bess? Dick Turpin. In which battle was Nelson killed? Where have I got that down? Is it that one? That's wrong. I think I put the wrong one down. I've got Waterloo down, but I don't think it is. It was Trafalgar. Don't know why I wrote Waterloo down. Trafalgar. What does corn mean in corned beef? Salted. What's the most popular brand of cigarettes in the world? Marlboro. It's hard to say. What historically are Peter Allen and Owen Evans known for? Well, everybody knows Ruth Ellis. Peter Allen and Owen Evans were the last men to be hanged in Britain. They stabbed a laundry on the 13th of August 1964. They stabbed a laundry fan driver. Killed him. Number 8. What year did the last Apollo mission put men on the moon? It was December 1972. It was Apollo 17. 1972. So if you wrote 71, 72 or 73, give yourselves a point. Right out of them scores and let me know how you've done. This is Sunday night. I've done this on Sunday night here. Flying through these quizzes now because just been putting the time in. So let me know how you've done anyway. Have a good weekend or week during the week. It depends when I put these on. It's only Sunday. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. We're getting up near the 30 mark. See you again soon.